All right, guys, we need to talk about Invincible Season 3. I want to hear all of your guys' thoughts in the comments down below, like full tilt, all spoilers. Let me know every single one of your thoughts in the comments. I was unbelievably hyped for this finale, so much so that I'm actually at South by Southwest right now, a film festival, and it is 3:18 in the morning, and I stayed up to watch this. Man, I'm tired, but it absolutely rejuvenated me. But Season 3, man, this is where we knew we were kind of building up to a lot of the bigger Viltrumite war stuff, and this season tackled a lot of what I wanted in unique ways, while also still kind of being underwhelming all at the same time. But I think what I've realized now is that Invincible will never fully satisfy my cravings as a viewer, just based off of the fact that there is so much lore and that they're constantly setting so much shit up that they can never actually, I guess, deliver on every single thing that they promise throughout every single episode. I mean, they're doing 8 episode seasons. They say that they want to give us a season a year from now on. I don't really know if that's going to happen, but that would be interesting. I kind of want to start from the beginning with this season, though. I think the premiere 3 episodes were actually really, really great. They're arguably the best 3 premiere episodes we've gotten in any Amazon Prime history show, in my opinion. I think it was phenomenal. But then episodes 4, 5, and yeah, I'd say 4 and 5 were pretty lackluster in my opinion. 6 was really good, where we got introduced to Aaron Paul's character. 7 was great because that was Invincible War, and then obviously the finale with Conquest and all that kind of stuff. Phenomenal stuff. I'm going to talk all things spoilers about Conquest in just a second here, but again, I'm trying to go chronologically throughout the season. I think the first 3 episodes, the animation was pretty stagnant, pretty similar to stuff that we had already seen in the series. 4 and 5 don't really do anything unique. 6 is cool because of Aaron Paul's character's powers and stuff like that. 7, you start to pick it up a little bit. You know, we have the Mark versus Mark fights, the prison one specifically. There's an Oliver versus Mark variant fight, which is really interesting. And they really do set up stakes, as in, I feel like anyone close to Mark can die, which in my opinion didn't really feel like it happened in season 2 because we felt so distant from all of the general character work. Whereas I definitely feel like this season, at least after episode 6, when those stakes were set up, it felt like Mark's familial threat was actually present. And then we get to episode 7, where I feel like this is where we really picked up the pace. Invincible War, I definitely could have felt like it could have been more of the episode, but I still really enjoyed it for what it was. And then we get to the episode 8. So I want to talk about the story in episode 8, where we kind of go from here, and then I'll go back and talk about kind of my slight problems with the series so far, at least in this season, because I think my problems definitely differ from season 1, 2, and 3. But I will say, all in all, if you don't end up watching the rest of the video, if you don't make it to the end and you never hear me say this again, I think every single season is getting better at certain elements. I think season 1 is still the best. I'm literally like fresh off of watching season 3. Like, finished this show like 10 minutes ago. So give me a little bit of time to think about it. But as of now, I still think season 1 is the best. I think season 3 does a way better job, though, of kind of overall bringing together elements of this very thick and dense lore-filled world. But again, I'll get into that in just a second here. I want to talk about episode 8, the finale, where we finally get the Conquest versus Invincible matchup. This is the first episode where I truly feel like the entire episode is one big action sequence, and I absolutely love that. The pacing of it is phenomenal, and I think with the action comes the absolute best animation that we have ever seen in this series so far. No questions asked. Like, there is one scene where Conquest is kind of throwing Mark through a couple of buildings, but then kind of sumo slamming his ass into the ground. And also the scene where we think Eve dies, that sequence is also absolutely insane. Like, you genuinely are like, holy shit, this emotion from the voice acting of Steven Yeun is paired phenomenally with the animation itself. It truly does feel like this is the first time the show is hitting a stride in terms of exceeding what we expect on an animation level, in my opinion. I do think overall there are a couple of pacing issues in terms of strictly just I think we could have skipped a moment or two. I don't necessarily think the Oliver stuff is perfectly intertwined here. And I don't know how the comics go, so don't yell at me. Let me know in the comments respectfully what you thought of how everything goes and how everything is executed here. I was kind of expecting Omni-Man to come in at some point, or even Alan at some point. I am pretty disappointed by the inclusion of Omni-Man and Alan this season. We literally got them in 2 episodes. We got the dynamic duo stuff, which was so fucking cool. But other than that, it was very, very lackluster. And that was my biggest hope going into the finale of like, maybe we'll see something of them. Something. Maybe literally in a podcast episode, I think it was after the 4th episode came out. That was the duo episode. I think it was either 4th or 5th episode. After that came out, I was like, hey, to my podcast host, when do you think we're getting them back? Like, maybe episode 6, maybe 7. 7 would be pushing it. We still have not seen their asses since then. I at least thought we'd see them in a post-credit scene or something. We don't. They use the post-credit scene to set up another plot point, even though the ending of the episode, like after the Rex funeral and all that kind of stuff, after everything gets resolved, they set up another character returning. It's like we are bringing in so many things, and I understand all of these plots will probably combine at some point. But even Invincible War to me wasn't something that was super, I guess, like entertaining. I mean, you have that brain villain, you have this stuff with Angstrom Levy, you have all of the Alan and Omni-Man stuff, and now we have 2 other villain stuff that was introduced. It is just so much stuff going on. As much as I had so much fun with this episode, and as entertaining as the Conquest fight was, it absolutely lived up to the hype. Invincible War, people who read the comics were saying it's better than what it is in the comics. It's more fleshed out. And even going from episode 7 to 8, the implications are absolutely phenomenal. But then you wrap up this episode and you have so much shit that's unresolved, and it helps to know that they're trying to pump out a season a year. That's funny. That's all fun and games. But at the end of the day, I want to see these stories roll up. I don't have to wait every single year. I've seen maybe 3 minutes of Omni-Man screen time in the last 365 days. Like, I don't understand what that's all about, man. But I will say, in terms of the good stuff of the overall season, let's compare it to seasons 2 and 1. Well, firstly, season 2 was really, really mid in my opinion. That's just me personally. Mid as in the bar for Invincible. So I'd say it was like a 6.5 out of 10, maybe 7 is pushing it. This is easily, actually, I don't want to get my score away just yet. I'll get my score away at the end. Season 1 is like a 9.3, maybe 9.5. Like one of the better seasons of television I think I've ever seen. Really great stuff. Season 3, I think, is the worst parts of Season 2, but also the best parts of Season 1. And we get that in the finale, where Conquest is absolutely rocking hell on earth, and he is just demolishing people, like running through absolute, like full cities. It's crazy shit. So Omni-Man coded from the Season 1 finale, and I love that. But Season 3 also has the problems of, in Season 2, I think pre-mid-season finale, so like episodes 2, 3, 4, even 5, I'd say, it just is so lackluster. We're kind of dilly-dallying everywhere. Mark is kind of post this whole world traumatic thing happening, trying to figure out his place, but it's not really interesting. Here, I think at least the Cecil story and the dynamic between Mark and every other hero in this world, all of that is entertaining, and I think at least this season, compared to Season 2, try something way more unique and explorative on a thematic level. My favorite, I would say this is the best subplot of the entire series so far. We're talking not primarily connected to Mark's character at all. Like none of his friends, family, none of that kind of stuff. I think the Aaron Paul character stuff, which it sucks that I'm forgetting the character's name. Obviously that means something, but I think overall it is the most entertaining subplot that we've gotten in this entire series. Not that we've gotten many entertaining subplots in my opinion, because they all kind of just get jumbled in the mix. They kind of get thrown in for an episode or 2 at a time, but this one gets thrown in for an episode or 2, specifically 2 episodes, 6 and 7. But at least when it is thrown in, I think it does cause a really interesting dilemma within Mark's character. And that's something that I just wanted the show to explore a lot more, especially after just watching the Season 2 trailer, where we think that Mark has turned, or at least I did because I didn't read the comics or anything. So I thought it was like, holy shit, Mark is low-key evil. So I was like, where do we go from here? But this season is able to actually explore that idea. So granted, it took 8 more episodes, or technically 10 more episodes, and over 365 days, but it's whatever. I'm not gonna keep judging. One of my other favorite, I guess, introductions to season 3 was Oliver. Technically, he is introduced in season 2, but I guess main character inclusions. Oliver is such an interesting character here. I really thought that, I thought Omni-Man was going to come back this season. He's literally in the season for like 10 fucking minutes, which kind of sucks. But I do think Oliver's character has a really interesting arc. I thought his ass was dead. I thought Conquest was ripping him in half. And I think that's what works so well. I'll get back to the Oliver stuff in just a second here. Conquest was a real threat, in my opinion. It did feel like Conquest, because it felt like he was kind of like the final barrier for Viltrumites of, oh yeah, we're sending Conquest here because he is the dude. Like, you know what I mean? He is the guy that gets the job done. And it felt like, as an audience member, I knew that, even though I didn't read the comics. And they set up those stakes really well. So I thought Oliver was a goner. I thought Eve was fucking dead as rocks. I think overall, the Oliver stuff works really well, because originally we were all kind of like, what the fuck is wrong with this kid? He's batshit insane. But then as you keep on watching it, and as the story evolves, it's not necessarily that Mark convinces him, because at the end of the finale, Mark literally says, if anyone ever threatens my friends or family again, they're fucking in the ground. So I think that is a phenomenal character evolution for Oliver and Mark. Oliver's not stopping him, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it is a great, I guess, just brotherly dynamic thing. I really do love the way that this show has actually taken Oliver and made him an interesting character. Oliver's one of the few characters where he doesn't get that much screen time, really. Like, he gets like a few characterizing moments, but other than that, he doesn't get much screen time. And in the moments that he does get screen time, though, he is truly entertaining. Like, absolutely riveting stuff, in my opinion. I'm trying to think of other things I really want to talk about. I can't. I don't know. It was a lot of shock about it. Okay, no, actually, the earlier parts of this season were a lot of shock value in terms of where the story was going, because they teased Levy for so long, and they have a lot of focus on Cecil and I guess the more so grounded elements of this series in the first half of this season. And then we really take a sharp turn, I would say around like episode 6, and the final 3 episodes just go on a crazy run. And it does feel like we go from 0 to 100 really quickly, but that's kind of what I want from this show. But it feels like we're in that same loop every single season. We end with something that's batshit crazy, but then we get it resolved by the end of the season, and the next season is the same loop. Like, we build up and we keep on teasing. Like, episodes 3, 4, 5, 6 are constantly just minor storytelling that I'm not very interested in, because I know it's either A, just gonna like Aaron Paul's character, I doubt he's coming back. He might. I don't know. I haven't read the comics. But even if he does, if he's back for 1 episode, 2 seasons down the line, I don't really give a shit, you know? His purpose was to thematically influence Mark and give us this internal, I guess, difference within his character. That's done. I mean, it's not done, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it is... We've already covered that commentary. There's not much else you can do with it. And that's just kind of how I feel, especially like I was just crossing my fingers when that first credits rolled up, and I was like, please, for the love of fucking God, show me Omni-Man and Alan. Like please. They show fucking the Beast dude who's aura farming again in space, but then they don't show us Omni-Man and Alan. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that, it genuinely pissed me off. And then we get introduced, I don't know these storylines in the comics. I don't know where we're going from here, so I guess if you know what it's about, let me know in the comments without giving any spoilers away, obviously. But like, I don't really find any of that kind of stuff entertaining, because I know it's just going to be a one-off episode thing or a 2-off episode thing. I wish, or I hope Angstrom... I'm still really interested in the whole multiverse thing. I don't know if like the multiversal marks is kind of where it ends. I forgot we had the whole Declaration of Independence, like those twins, voiced by Sholo Maridueña. I don't know what the twins' names are, but we had that whole plot of the future Invincible saving them and stuff like that. Where the fuck are we going with that kind of stuff? Like, it is genuinely such entertaining ideas that aren't executed in any way, shape, or form, because it takes them so long to get to one point. I feel like I'm genuinely just shitting on this show. I don't mean to do that. Because I really do like a lot of what this series is going for. It's just really frustrating to me. Such slow of a pace when we're getting such little episodes at a time. Again, you're gonna hear me shitting on this right now for the last what are we recording, like 13 minutes now. I've been shitting on this show, but I'm also gonna give it such a high rating because I just have so much fun with it. I absolutely love it. I don't think it's without its core writing problems. Is it really writing problems as much as it is just like pacing issues? And as we mentioned, I think it was on last week's Invincible episode, which if you haven't seen that video, I made a clip of it. It's up here or something like that. My co-host was like, this would work way better. It's like a 22 episode weekend cartoon show, which I agree, but you're not putting like rated R brutality on a Saturday morning show. But I get the idea, you know. I get this idea of it might not look as good, but it at least gives us a little bit more story. And Invincible, other than the last 2 episodes, already doesn't look that great. So I don't really know how much lower of a bar we can get from here. But they're not going to do this, but I hope we can get longer more episodes per season. So I guess the longer seasons. I think like 12, maybe 13 is the perfect number. And I wouldn't mind like a 1.5 year delay if we're getting more episodes. Like that is far more entertaining in my opinion. And I don't know if this is a hot take, but I would rather have less consistent seasons, but more episodes with just grander and bigger storytelling. But yeah, I can't really think of anything else I want to talk about. If I do want to talk about something, I'll probably make a short or a TikTok or something about it. But I literally just wanted to turn the camera on and yap about Invincible, which is all that this video has been. Because you guys enjoyed last week's episode where I did the same exact thing. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought of Invincible Season 3, the finale, Conquest, everything about this show. Just let me know all of your thoughts in the comments. And also, again, sorry if this video is all over the place. I'm at a film festival right now trying to get I just finished editing, and then I realized it was 3 a.m. and the new Invincible episode is out. So I got to watch it, and I got to talk about it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.